we're back with another video. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to go over the auto trader or the shop, however you want to call it. This is going to be a long one, so bear with me. I'm going to go over the entire workflow on how to set it up and you know, how to customize it, how your players in game go about picking locations. So I'm going to go over the whole thing. So let's get right into it. Let's start at the beginning. If you're one of our customers, you're familiar with this page. This is where you configure your Nitrado token and your server and your payment and all of that after that. So if you have not already added the auto trader to your game, you do that in this page. So as you see, I'm on the servers page here. This is my little 10 slot that we use for testing. Right now, the auto trader feature is disabled, so I'm gonna go ahead and click it on. Before the auto trader gets added, you have to come back here and confirm the changes. If you just do that and navigate away from this page, it will still not be turned on. So after you confirm, it'll process, and if it processes successfully, you will now see it turn to on here, and that's it. As soon as you do that, now let's get into the auto trader itself. So the auto trader page for all of the administration is located right here on the left tab, and once you click it, you'll get an overview of your entire setup. If you have multiple servers, of course, you would select them and change them here. If you have just the one server, you don't have to worry about this menu. But here you have an overview of the entire shop. Now, when you first add the auto trader to your server, you're going to get our default shop, and that includes upwards of 1,600 items that your players are going to be able to buy. The same goes for our kits. We have a series of default created kits that we did for ease of use. But you know, we know that everybody wants to run their server differently, so this is where you would come to customize those as well. The other thing you can see on this menu is the transaction history to see what your players have bought and where, and along with some stats on, you know, what's getting purchased the most or not. And last, you have this settings page. Let's get into it in a second. Let's start with the contents of your shop. So you see these three big buttons here. If you disable all of the items, what that's going to do is now your players have nothing to buy from the shop. So if you want to take a nuclear approach and disable everything and enable only things that you want them to buy, let's say you only want them to buy 4-digit combo locks and nothing else, you can filter by item name here, and then once you have the item identified, you can either reset the item. What that's going to do is it's going to enable it. It's going to have a purchase limit of 5 with a cooldown of 1 hour. The price is $25. If you want to edit that item, you can do that in this menu here. So you can set this now to $2,500. Let's say you want a cooldown of 12 hours and a purchase limit of 1. And of course, don't forget this little guy down here. Once you do that and you save it, from now on, the only item your players will be able to purchase is this guy right here. By the way, I think I'm gonna adjust the default price of that to be maybe closer to $1,000, not $25. But anyway, moving on. So you can take this approach and enable just a few items for your players to buy, or you can go by category. So let's do that. I'm going to disable everything again, have it do that. Now this item is disabled. It's still marked as blue because it has values different than what we have for the defaults. Let's now go into category operations. So if you click on this button here, you can select a category of gear. NBC is a good one. Let's say you want to disable everything from your shop and all you want to let your players buy is NBC gear. You would come to NBC gear and enable the entire category. that now we're going to tell you what this thing is going to do. So this is all of the items that are, these are all of the items that are part of that category. And if you apply the changes, you can now, let's filter by enabled items. I have this thing. And now it's going to show you the things that your players can buy. It's all the NBC stuff. So you can go about customizing your shop that way. You can also disable everything. Let's get rid of this filter. Go back to all items and go category operations. And let's say I only want to let my players buy ammunition. I want to enable them. And now the only items that are enabled in your shop are ammo boxes, right? So now you can set it up that way. So as you can see, the possibilities are endless here. You can go about doing this however you want. For now, let's enable everything for the purposes of the demo. Let's move on to kits. All right, kits work in a similar fashion, but you also have an additional option, which is to create your own kit, as you see here. So for now, these are all of the kits that are available by default. And there's a couple things you can do here. You can completely disable the kit, right? So now this assault kit AKM will not show up for your players. Or you can have this kit enabled, and if you don't want to necessarily build your own kits, let's say, for example, man, you know, I don't want this one. I don't want them to buy clothing. Let's disable just a few here, just for the sake of argument. Let's say I don't want them to buy any of these, but I do want them to buy a couple of assault kits, a base builder, and a raiding kit. You can now click on this base builder and see what we included by default on this. So it's got one barbed wire, one combination lock, and one fence kit, one hammer. If you're not happy with that and you say, well, for my base builders, I want to give them, you know, 4 sets of barbed wire, four locks, and let's go down here and say, they've got 8 wooden planks. By the way, this is a pack of 10 planks. That's how they spawn in game. It's not one plank, so this will be 80 planks. I want to give them 100 planks. You notice that the price, let's add a bunch more of these so the price changes. You notice that the recommended price right now is $37.84. This is the currently configured price on your kit. So if you want to move that to reflect the actual price of the shop, you click this button here and that'll do that. Or if you want to make, say, this 100,000 bucks to buy that, you can click update. And now this is what this kit will cost. Now, the thing about it is, right? So if you have this kit that's 100 grand, you don't necessarily want the items to be available for purchase here for cheaper. So that's when some of this stuff would be useful. You can go here to building materials and just disable the whole category, right? So now your players cannot, let's go to building. If we run into a problem here, don't worry about it. This will be good. I'll identify it and fix it. All right. So now we have all of the building stuff disabled. So now they will only be able to buy building materials by buying the kit, and you can price the kit however you want. So that's one way to do this, is modify our existing kits. Let's say for some reason you think these guys don't know what they're doing. I don't want any of their kits. I want my own. That's what these big buttons are here. They're here for. So I can disable all of the default kits. Let's wait for that to finish. All right, and now that they're disabled, you basically have no kits available on your server, and that's when you would come in here and create your own kit. So let's make one. I'm gonna make one kit, raiding stuff. I'm gonna set a cooldown of 24 hours, so 1 per day, and I'm gonna start typing here. So let's go. Let's see. Plastic explosives. I'm gonna add 1. I'm gonna make this kit have, I don't know, it's big raid day. I'm gonna make it have 12 of these things. Now I'm gonna add some protective cases right here, and I'm gonna add 6 of those, and detonators. Yep, I'm gonna add 6 of these as well. All right, so that's the suggested price. I'm gonna click this button based on our default pricing, or as we saw, you can change this price, and I'm gonna create it. Now, as soon as you create it, let's go look for it down here. Here it is. Here's my kit. It's enabled, and these are the items that it has. If you want to edit it further, you click this edit button, and that's the price. So from now on, if your players go to Discord and try to buy a kit, this will be the only kit that will show up, and that will be the name of it. Okay, let us move on to settings. Okay, I'm about to jump into Discord. I'm also going to show you how your players do stuff, but let's cover this first. There's a couple things you have to do in Discord after you enable the auto trader on the website, right? Like right now we're messing with the stuff that's for administrators to configure and set up your shop. But as you know, there's Nitrato stuff that we need to do in order to make kind of tie everything together. So there's a couple of big commands. The first one is shop setup. This one's going to take a minute, but this command is going to get your DayZ server configured and ready for the shop. If you don't execute this command, things are not going to work. And we have a couple of additional ones. We have a shop reset. This is in case you did something weird and you want to default everything back to initial configuration. You can do that one. You can disable the shop from Discord if you want. That has the same effect as coming in here and disabling everything. But if you don't want to mess with your configuration, but you want to kind of turn off the shop for a little bit, you can do that there. And there's a bunch of other commands that are in the documentation. The other important thing to note is the roles. So by default, the shop will be available to every member that has the everyone role in your Discord. If for some reason you want to, filter access or monetize access to the shop, you can do that here by specifying a shop role. So if, for example, I wanted to have a special role for this, I would say shop. I would add that role. And then remember, this one is still here. So right now, both of these roles have access to the shop. So you would have to come in here and remove this one. And from now on, only Discord members with access to shop will be able to issue shop commands. Of course, administrator roles will always have access. This is just for everybody that's not an administrator on your server. All right, I think that covers most of the stuff from Discord. From the website part of it. Let's move on to Discord. Okay, let's look at the Discord stuff now. Here I am on our little test Discord for this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new channel. Of course, as you know, nothing you type in this channel is going to work until the channel is registered to a game, for those of you that have multiple DayZ servers. So the first thing I'm going to do is register my channel. As soon as that's done, this channel is now registered to execute commands to this DayZ game only. All right, so like we saw on the website part, under shop, you have all of your shop commands. Right now, the shop has not been configured. So the first thing I'm going to do is locate my shop setup command, and I'm going to execute that. Like I mentioned, this is going to take a minute. We're going to warn you about what operations we're going to do once you confirm. The bot will go and do its thing, and hopefully, if everything works the way it should, you will get a setup complete message. At this point, the shop is configured. Now, there's some stuff that we have to do to get the shop to run that requires restart. If you're just testing for now, you don't necessarily have to do it, but it is recommended to do a quick restart after this step, just to get everything kind of established. So now let's check a couple things. I also have a command for check config. If for some reason you were in there editing things, putting a new building in your CFG gameplay file, or you changed some events and you grabbed some cool stuff, pushed it to the server, and things are not working, this would be the command to use to check. You can also run a shop setup again, and we'll go in there and redo it for you. But if you execute this command, this will go off and check Nitrado, check the website configuration, and make sure that things are good to go. All right, so let's do the first thing. I'm going to, of course, I have to have a gamer tag link, which I'm pretty sure I already have. Yes, I have my gamer tag linked here, so that's good. So let's go try and buy something. So if you remember, when we were messing with the kit configuration, we disabled all of the default kits, and we created this customer one kit. So that's the only kit that shows up available for me to purchase. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. I'm going to hit enter. And this thing is going to tell me that, hey, you don't have a location in the shop. And that's what your players are going to report when you tell them all excited that you have auto traders set up, and they're going to tell you they can't buy anything. Well, they can't buy anything until they have a location registered. Same go for buying regular items. So I'm gonna try, let's see what, yeah, we left everything enabled. So I'm gonna buy this ACOG scope. There is an optional parameter for the quantity if you have multiple quantities of items available. Let's say this one, I'm gonna try to buy 2. And this thing is gonna tell me, hey, you don't have a shop location in game before we process anything. The other thing they can do to check their shop locations is under the my command. You have a couple of commands that are related to the auto trader, and that's my shop locations and my shop history. Of course, if I run this one now, it's going to tell me that we don't have any delivery locations in game, and it's going to give them a little bit of an instruction to go place a fireplace and just wait. So now I'm gonna cut here and show you how to do that in game. Okay, so here we are in game. Let's get some wood first, so we can get a fireplace going. You'd be surprised, it seems self-explanatory, but the placing of the fireplace is very important. People tend to drop them, and that's not gonna work. I forgot to get some bark, so let's do that. Hopefully, there was a bear around when I was walking in here to do this. Hopefully he doesn't find me. It's DayZ. Every time I try to log on to do something for testing, I end up battling the elements for an hour. All right, so let's get our bark and our short stick and craft a fireplace. And that here we're gonna get to the first differentiator. At this point, this fireplace has been crafted. It will not work. We will not detect this as a placing event. You have to pick it up, press RT, and actually place the fireplace. So this is the right way to do it in game. You don't have to craft another one or burn it. You can then pick that up and place it somewhere else, and that'll be your second delivery location. As you see here, I dropped the fireplace. That's not gonna work. We are going to pick it up and actually place it with the placing animation. At this point, we're ready to rock and roll. Let's get back to Discord. Okay, back to Discord. So we just saw how to properly place fireplaces in game and how to not do it properly. So make sure you pass that information along to your players. One telltale sign that things were done correctly is in your channel feed. You will see the fireplaces being placed in your placed feed. So you see there's a fireplace here and there's a fireplace here. Of course, if we had location turned on for this channel, the precise locations would show up for, you know, PvE servers, things of that nature. But now that we have these two, let's go back here and let me go again and say my shop locations. After you do that, you can now see when we executed the command before, we had no delivery locations here. Now we've got two. Now this post is for the player that executes the command only. That's why you see it highlighted in blue. It says here, only you can see this. So this will have the precise locations of where things are. Of course, if you click this, it'll take you to the browser link where you will see the exact location. A couple of things we can do here. We can, of course, delete the locations if for some reason we made a mistake and we don't like it. But the other cool thing I can do is I can rename them. So I can say my location number 1 is going to be my base. I'm going to submit. And then you will see that now highlighted here. And for location 2, I'm going to rename that outpost. And now I have 2 shop delivery locations. Now, as I mentioned before, this is circular. So if you place, you can have up to 3. So if you place a third one, it'll show up here to rename. If you place a 4th fireplace, it will delete, it will replace the oldest one. So you'll have to go back to your base and place another fireplace there. And just give it 10-15 minutes for the logs to show up. Once you see it show up on the place feed, now you know you'll have updated coordinates. But now what we can do is start buying things. So let me dismiss all of these messages. So now I'm going to go and buy that kit, right? So, also I should mention, before you buy the kit, you can also, we have a couple of browse commands, right? So without being tied to a purchase, although you can also always cancel the purchase. But if you just want to see what's in the kits, you can execute this command. And the testing API is not great. Let's go buy it. Once you go buy the kit, hit enter and select it. The bot will now display the contents of the kit. So now in this one, we know that we have 12 explosives, remote detonators, and all kinds of stuff. I happen to have enough money in the bank. I have 155 grand. I'll actually show you something cool that we did for that here in a second. If I decide to buy it, you'll see the button here that tells you select location. Now, if I only had 1 fireplace location in my record, this would just say buy. But because we have 2, we will let your players select where they want this delivered. So I'm going to go ahead and click that button, and now I get a decision prompt to see where I want this delivered. So I'm going to say I want this delivered to my base. And once you click that, there's no going back. The purchase is going to process. So a couple things happen here. One of these embed posts is for me, the purchaser, and only I can see it. And it's going to tell me a couple of important things. One, the absolute coordinate location of where the items are going to be delivered. And we're also going to see a little bit of information for the shop here. We have an algorithm to try to calculate the time between restarts of your server, so that people know that, hey, you know, this thing restarted about 1 hour and 15 minutes ago, and the estimated restart is about to happen at any moment. If we had purchased this, 30 minutes ago, this would say, hey, the estimated restart is 30 minutes ago. We found that this is very useful for if you want to, wait until 20-30 minutes before restart, and you want to buy something, when to log on to go collect your items. Also, if you have a server that's got, really long restart intervals, you may, not want to do that and then forget, and then somebody else picks up your loot. Now, this does change. So for example, if you go in there and you change your server to have 6-hour restarts after you've had 3, it's going to take a while for this information to refresh and be accurate. That's why we put estimated, right? These times are approximate and not guaranteed. But the longer your server runs with a steady restart cycle, we'll have pretty good estimates here on when your server's about to restart. So that's only for the purchaser. The other thing that will show up here is public for everyone to see that I just bought something. That's to enhance gameplay and have people interested that if I just bought a humongous raid kit, they kind of know what's about to happen after restart. Okay, so now that we have that, let me see what else we can do here. Yeah, of course, I can also do my shop history, and that will show me the things that I bought and how long ago and how much that cost. Let's talk about this message right here. So this is important to know. As you know, we're trying to do the best we can with the tools we have available. By that I mean Nitrado and how DayZ processes logs and all of this stuff. Our bot will process transactions about every 10 minutes. So if you've got a really high pop server with a bunch of people buying things all the time, we don't bog down things by shop purchases. What that means is this particular purchase I just placed, when it says the estimated restart is at any moment, there is a good chance that this purchase will not be processed at this restart. Meaning if I go to the PlayStation right now and I log on, there's a chance these items are not there and they will be processed on next restart. So it's important for you to warn your players that, hey, try to get your purchases in 20 minutes before restart. If you've got messages in game that tells them, hey, the server's about to restart in an hour, that's the time to go in and place all your orders. Now, the order will still be processed. It will just be processed on next restart. So the items will not be there. All right, so now that we've got that going, let's talk about a couple of dynamic events. Let's talk about vehicles. Let's enable, let's see what we've got here. We've got a couple of vehicle kits. Okay, let's do, where's my favorite? There we go, let's go with this green 88. I'm gonna enable this data. So, our shop processes vehicles the way the game processes vehicles. We don't spawn them in as items because they're wonky, the performance is not great, and that means we've got to persist that item across multiple restarts, and there's all these decisions to make about how you want your players to handle vehicles. So our vehicles spawn as part of the game events. That means that if you have vehicles spawned in terrible condition in your configuration, when somebody buys a vehicle in game, it's going to spawn in the same condition that you have them configured to be in. For that reason, the kits that we created for vehicles contain everything you need to get that vehicle up and running. Right, so you're gonna have a spark plugs, 5 wheels, the doors, the hood, the trunk, all the good stuff, along with the battery, the radiator, and all that. Of course, you can come in here and edit the items that you want on the kits, but this basically means it's a complete vehicle kit. Now, once the player purchases a vehicle, the vehicle is yours, right? So across reboots, the vehicle event will hold unless you as an administrator decide to remove it. The first thing we need to do for this is let's go buy one. So let's buy the ADA kit. I'm gonna try to do that. And let's see, I still got 97 grand, so I should be able to buy it. Okay, so this is gonna tell me all of the things that are here for the vehicle. I'm going to select outpost location for this. And now the vehicle purchase will process. Now, I'm gonna wait a few minutes. Of course, I'm gonna cut here and I'll come back after the vehicle has actually spawned in game. But a couple of things in addition to that to note: vehicles need room to spawn. So if my fireplace is, for example, next to a tree and I buy a vehicle, the purchase will be successful and everything will be great. And then your players will go in game and start complaining that, hey, my vehicle never spawned. We can't put a vehicle on top of a tree. We can't put a vehicle on top of a house, or, you know, it's going to be useless. It may spawn upside down. It may spawn broken, all kinds of things. Unfortunately, that's not something we can control. We also don't have coordinates for every little item that spawns that DayZ puts in the game, right? So there's no way for us for the bot to know that the vehicle location that was chosen was in a safe place. Of course, you can always, you know, refund the transaction, void the vehicle, and have them purchase it again. But it's important for you to advise to your players that, hey, if you're going to buy a vehicle, pick a wide open field, hopefully not, you know, on a super inclined hill, so that things go the way they should. Now, another note on vehicles: the vehicle is yours once you buy it. So if you happen to go and red dot that vehicle somewhere else, the vehicle will show up again, right? You own the vehicle for as long as you have it, until admin decides to delete it. I'm gonna show you how to do that here soon. Let's first go check. Let's go in here and go to my transactions. Well, I'm gonna have to refresh this page probably. Select our server again to load the data. All right, so now in the transaction history, we're gonna see our two transactions, the one for the ADA and the one for the custom kit we did. Note that, you know, the vehicle kit is marked as persisted. Not every item in the kit is persisted, like we discussed. It's just the vehicle itself. But it's marked as persisted just to kind of let you know that there's a vehicle in there. Note the status of this one, right? So this one was removed. That means it went through the pipeline, it placed the item, we detected a reboot, and it did what it needed to do, so it's no longer going to spawn in the next reboot. Let's go ahead and order. Just buy a single item. Just buy an ACOG scope. It's gonna ask me the location again because I have two. Once we buy the item, now we have the public post and the private post that shows the location. We talked about that already. Let's go back in here now and refresh our purchase history. Right, so now you see a different state here, right? So this transaction is unfulfilled. That means that the auto trader hasn't processed it yet. As soon as it gets put into the shop, it'll be fulfilled, and when we detect a reboot, meaning that we've determined that the item has spawned in game, we'll mark it as placed, and so on and so forth. It'll process through the queue that way. Right. So now that this vehicle has been marked as persisted, let's stay on that topic. If for some reason I wanted to remove that vehicle in game. Now, when you go to use your shop delete vehicles, the vehicle will show up there. It'll tell you the kind, the type of vehicle it is, the gamer tag that did the purchase, and the date. So this is how you would do that. Talking about shop statuses, there is also a command in here called shop transactions. Yep. You can issue that command in Discord. It basically shows you kind of the state of the world type of information to let you know that, hey, you know, we've got total transactions for the lifetime of the shop. We've got one vehicle that has been purchased, one unfulfilled transaction that's waiting to go through the queue, and maybe by the time in a little bit we'll check it, and it should have moved into the fulfilled stage. And we've got one persisted item. So this also gives you some restart information for your server, like we discussed. Okay, so refunding is pretty straightforward, right? You have this big red refund button here. If you press it, you're gonna get it's gonna ask you to confirm that you want to refund $1,600 to this gamer tag. Once you click refund, the item will be marked as refunded, and now the player's got the money back in his account. Keep in mind that refunding, basically, you're just giving the money back. It's not going to affect the normal flow of items purchased through the shop. So if we were waiting for this thing to get placed on reboot and you refund it, it's going to get placed anyway, and they're going to be able to collect the item. So if you want to refund things, it's got to be either after confirmation that the item didn't spawn correctly, or it got stolen, or somebody raided them, whatever the condition may be. But just keep that in mind. The same goes for vehicles. For example, if for some reason, let's say they chose the fireplace inside of a house. They bought a vehicle, they tell you, hey man, I messed up, I ordered it to the wrong spot, the vehicle's never going to spawn. You would come in here, refund the vehicle purchase. That's going to give them their money back, but guess what? The vehicle event is still in here, so you then have to come to delete the vehicle manually, right? And once you start that process, we're actually going to go remove the event from your game server. So now you'll get confirmation that it got successfully deleted. And at this point, I guess you could do this first and then refund them. But at this point, then they can go attempt to purchase another vehicle and go about it that way. Okay. Talking about where things spawn, there's a little bit more information you can gain. This is your main kind of transaction history page. If you do click on a particular player, there is a little bit more information there. Of course, this is where all of the player stats is, their combat history basis, and all this other good stuff. But here you have an auto trader tab. So this auto trader tab is specific to the player in the DayZ that we're viewing now. So you can see you have the coordinates of where they've placed the fireplaces, so you can go confirm that the fireplace is in a spot where it should be. And also you have individual transaction history here for the player, and of course the place where they chose the delivery location to be. Okay, now that we've got that, oh yeah, this information is also available for quick view. Let me see, shop, where is that command? Get player locations. Yeah, shop, I don't know why I didn't just, shop get player locations will give you a quick glance after you select the gamer tag of the same information we were just looking at. It's just from Discord. If you wanna, you're on your phone or something, don't have access to a computer, you can double check where the fireplace coordinates are. Other than that, let's see, shop info, we covered that already. Everybody can execute this command, and that tells your players when it's a good time to place orders. Check config, we talked about it. Disable, we talked about it. Reset, this just forces this hard forces everything in your shop to reset to default state. Force cleanup is a command we added in there in case things get wonky. If you're playing around, you're ordering things and restarting manually, and then ordering something else and restarting manually to see that it showed up, you may get things out of whack, because like I mentioned before, we do have a schedule that we keep to process orders, to keep processing down. So this command will basically just go in there and clean up after itself in case something got weird. We have a search for items, your locations, and then your shop history. This is a player command. This just shows, their gamer tag, the last 25 things they bought, and the current amount of money they have. Let's see, I think other than that, man, I almost forgot. So we talked about how vehicles are event driven. There is another thing that we did that I really like. I think it's my favorite feature of the shop, and I love messing around with this in game. We have a collection of animals, right? I don't remember now if, yeah. So you can buy any one of these animals. We also have, let me see, the reindeer is there. Yeah, you can buy a reindeer, you can buy a Christmas reindeer, of course, if the items are enabled, like we talked about in the beginning. The thing about these animals is they're not AI enabled, so it's kind of cool. You can spawn it at your location, and the animal won't move, it won't run away. It's just sitting there, you know, making reindeer noises or clucking noises if you buy a chicken. But it's basically just for entertainment value, or you can, you know, butcher it and get some free meat. However, the one animal that we did add AI for is the bear. So bears in our shop are full-blown AI angry bears. So if you do buy a bear, it's gonna attack you. So we've had several occasions of players going to place fireplaces near other players' bases and then buying a bear there. So it makes for a fun time. The other thing that's fun about this is, since it's event driven, the bear will continue to spawn if you keep butchering it in the same spot until reboot. They last once per reboot. They are not persistent. So the second your server restarts, the event will be done. But because of that, we did add a special post that shows up when you buy that one. That's not a generic kind of box being dropped. The bear gets its own picture. So then now that this is there, the bear will definitely show up after next restart, and it will be fully AI enabled. I think we've covered pretty much everything. Let's go look at our bear in the transaction history before we leave. Yeah, there you go. We've covered pretty much everything. Can't think of anything. If you can, of course, I always encourage you to join our support Discord. The link is down here on the website. It will also be in the comments of this YouTube video. And drop us a note if something's not working for you or working weird. Just please let us know. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I apologize for the length, but we covered a lot. And I'll see you on the next one.